Hello everyone and welcome back to Project Fern. I'm Danny. Today we're back with a video on the Berlingo. We've got an ABS light on and we've also got a knocking coming from the suspension, which I presume is the drop link because these Berlingos eat them for fun. They're not an expensive job, but first job of the day is the ABS light. I'm going to start off by checking the sensors because that's what it usually is, and I'm going to show you how I do it. When I start the car up, it'll do its checks, tell me my engine level's alright, and as you can see the ABS lights just come on. The ABS sensors live behind that wheel. I'll show you where they are as soon as I find out which one it is. Easy enough to test. I don't know if you can see there, that grey multi-plug, that's the driver's one, and then hiding just here beneath here, you can't really see it, let me come down a little bit, there you go. That's the passenger one. I've already got a new sensor because they're exactly the same for both sides. I got a Bosch one, as with anything, because I'm really nice. I'll put the link in the description below where you can buy these off eBay. I got these from OP Oils. You're going to need a multimeter because we're going to be testing the ohms. And I got a bunch of these little Crocodile clips. They're just extender wires. Again, I think they're about £2 for a pack of 20 or something. I'll put link in description below for these as well because they're really handy to have. So let's start off by testing this new sensor so we can get a decent reading, and then we'll start testing the front sensors on the car and see which one isn't working. Right, so I've put the Crocodile clips, one on each pin. I'm then going to turn the multimeter to whole ohms, not Sherlock Holmes, and then just connect one to each one and see what reading we get. So this is at 20k, but it's saying 3.33. It's steady. See if we can move it a little bit better so you can see it. There you go. 3.33. So move over to the car now, do exactly the same setup and see how we get on. Now that multi-clip down there can be hard work to get to. If you get a trim tool behind it, you can pop the clip off. That's holding that actual multi-plug on, and it just gives you a little bit more access getting to it. So I'm going to unplug that now and do exactly the same test I've just done on the bench there on the new sensor and see what reading we get on this one. So I've removed the clip there, as you can see, put my little Crocodile extensions in. I'm going to turn this round now to ohms. So that's actually not even settling. I'm not saying it's that sensor, but that is kind of an inconsistent reading. There might be a bit of rubbish on that sensor that's causing this, but yeah, that's all over the shop. So let's put that down as the possibility at the moment and move on to the passenger side. So on the passenger side, I've used the trim tool and just popped the multi-plug off its actual bracket. It's quite tight underneath these wires here, but it just makes it a little bit easier for testing it. So let's test this one and see what reading we get. The passenger side is 9.71 and it's steady at that. I know it's not 3.33 like it was on the bench. There is a tolerance between these sensors, but with that being constant at 9.71, I'd say that it's the driver's side which is causing the problem. So I'm going to get it jacked up now, remove that sensor and put the new one in. Just before I strip that driver's side down, I just want to show you where that sensor is. Sorry, the multi-plug where it connects, and then it runs down into the wheel arch to the passenger side. But we're going to focus on the driver's side today. Now the wheel's off, you can see this cover is hiding the ABS sensor, and the cable runs round up into here and then underneath here and disappears up to where that multi-plug was. So I'm going to unclip all that now, undo this and get the old sensor out. Looks like we've got a CV joint gone as well. Now, I bet you a tenner that's why the sensor's not working. I bet it's full of absolute gunk. I don't know if you can see there, but the CV boot clippers snapped. The boot's not ripped, which is perfect. It has lost a bit of grease. So I'm going to order a new clip and a load of grease to put inside it. And as you can see, the CV grease everywhere, which I'm going to have to clean off. That's no doubt, this is the ABS ring. So that ABS sensor sits just above that, and it feels when the wheel's spinning because it'll pulse. So if the wheels lock, it stops getting a reading, so it takes the brakes off on that wheel, which stops your brakes from locking, which is why it's called an ABS system. So I'm going to clean it all up now, pull the sensor out, clean inside the hole and stuff, and then yeah, I think it's just going to be a case of cleaning the sensor off. It's good to know that this little test I did with a multimeter has shown it is this sensor. I've saved myself on a sensor as well, I can post that back. So yeah, let's get this cleaned up. There you go. I think that's the reason why we've got some issues going down. It's absolutely filthy. So I'm going to have to clean that up, pop it back in and see if the ABS light goes off. It's just a 15mm deep socket that takes that out, by the way. I know I didn't show you how I just did that, but it's boring stuff in it. I've built that back up. It's my favourite saying, I've built that back up, which means I've put a nut back in and a nut on top of that and put a multi-plug connector back together and put it on a clip. So that means to me I've built it back up. I'm going to turn the car on now, make sure it's in neutral and see if that ABS light stays off. Oh, interesting. So it's still on. Let's put the other sensor in and see if that works. Right people, I've took the old sensor off again. There is a bit of wear to the bottom of it there, the metal's showing. Don't know if that affects the sensor at all, but I've took it off. It's still not consistent, it's up and down all over the show, which does actually say that this sensor's probably seen better days. So what I've ended up doing, this has been going on for quite a while now, probably about 40 minutes, is I've ended up putting the new sensor on and I've had to clean all in between the ABS ring where the CV grease was with a screwdriver, cleaned it all up, and then now when you start the car, no ABS light, so it's job done. I think it were a concoction of things. The CV boot has covered it in grease, and yeah, the sensor may have gone as well, but the ABS light's off now. I'm buzzing with that. So next job is the drop links. As you can see, that CV grease is horrible. I had to get under the car and clean it all off. I'm gonna have to get a new clip and get some CV grease to put back inside. I've had a look inside and everything looks fine. It's just lost a bit of grease. So the next job is gonna be the drop links. These cars eat them for fun. I've probably had a couple of sets put on them in the 3 years or so I've owned this car. I think they're about £12 for a pair. They're not the best ones in the world, but they go all the time, so you may as well just keep paying for the aftermarket ones. I put a quick video on now trying to pick up the noise. It's like a when you've got full lock on, you're turning over bumpy ground. So let's get the drop links out and I'll show you what they look like. So these are the 2 replacement drop links. They came as a pair, and with all things usually off eBay, one's come with a set of new nuts and one's not, so I'm going to have to use the old nuts, which isn't ideal. So I'm going to get the car jack back up in the air now and show you how to replace these. It's dead straightforward, so it shouldn't take long, and then we'll get rid of that clunking noise. So this is the old drop link. You can see plenty of play in there. This is a new one, really stiff. But what I've done is, because I've not lined it up properly and I've relied on the nut to drag it through, it's took the threads off, so I've only been able to do one side because it were a bit trickier than I thought. So I'm going to get another one of these ordered and then show you how I did it properly on the passenger side. It's a few days later now and the new drop links have arrived. I'm going to take my time with these ones and not rush and make sure they're in properly and not be an absolute idiot and grind the thread off the bolts when I'm pulling them through. Like I said, they are an easy enough job to do. I was just rushing the other day trying to get it done. These are silver, so I can't have one black one and one silver because the ones that I got the other day were black. So I'm going to have to take the driver's side one off as well, which I'm not fussed about. But yeah, they're about £12 these, and again, the link's in the description below. As you can see down here, there's number 1. And just pull it out. And there's number 2. It's easier to get to that by turning the steering left hand down, and same on the other side, right hand down. But I'll set the camera up now and get this whipped off. It's just a 17mm nut, that. If they spin like that, you have to get a Allen key in the top there, which I'll do now and get the bolt off. Or you can just carry on like a beast and get it off. For the next one, which is up here, I'm just going to turn the steering left hand down so I can get to it a little bit easier. And again, just another 17mm nut. Right, so in this situation now, you can just get a hammer and tap these out because the anti-roll bar has dropped a little bit, which is putting tension on the studs, so it's hard to actually get it out. But I'm just going to knock these out now and show you what I do to get the new ones in. So they're still not coming out after I've given them a tap, so I put the jack under the lower ball joint and I just lift the suspension up a little bit just to take the pressure off so I can get them out. I've kept jacking it up there until it's pretty much straight and then bolts out, and then I can just tap them out. And that's the old drop link out. I'm going to keep the jack in place as soon as everything's lined up. I'm just going to feed the new drop link through and then put it through. I always like giving these a bit of a waggle off first actually. That's number one. Now I've got the top one in, you'll notice that the bottom one's too high, so I'm just going to slowly let the jack down now so that lines up, and then I can get that bolted in as well. Right, I've got a shiny lovely new drop link put in there. Sorry for the banging noise, it's the light on top. Like I say, they're an easy job to do these, just don't rush. My problem is because I'm recording, I keep stopping and changing cameras and stuff. I get this urge to rush because I just want to get it done sometimes. But that's this side on, so I'm going to get this built back up and then I'm going to redo the other side. That's the second drop link put on. As I've drove the car off the other week, the ABS light has obviously been fixed, but it come back on. I'm thinking, is that CV boot put grease all over the sensor again? But I've just took this wheel off now and I've routed the wire wrong, and it's obviously put some tension on it, or it's gone onto the brake disc and it's actually snapped the new sensor wire. I keep telling myself all the time, you need to take pictures of stuff before you take it apart, but as usual I just rush into it. But lesson learned, I need to get a new sensor for this. But that sensor did fix the problem, the ABS started working, the light was off and stuff, so I'm just going to have to get another sensor. I've wasted £25 on a sensor, all through not taking a picture of how the wire was routed before I took it off. But live and learn. So the next job is to get this CV boot clip replaced and some grease put in it. As I showed you in the video earlier, that CV boot clip had broke. I've got one of these little kits off eBay. They're only about £5, I think, even that, £3. Link in the description as always if you need anything. It's a universal CV boot clip, and then we've got a pack of the horrible CV grease as well. Even the packet's greasy, horrible stuff. Make sure you always wear gloves. So I'm going to get this packed in now and get the clip on and get it tightened up. That's the old clip removed. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to jack this up a little bit just to straighten the drive shaft out so the boot sits on flush. I'm going to pull that back, pump all the new grease inside, put the new clip on, and then pop it back on and crimp it tight. And then that should fix that problem. I've got the clip on there and I've made sure the boot's on square as well. It's not as messy as I thought it was going to be, that. But I'm going to get the crimps now and crimp that clip on. It's easier to put the clip on like further down here and then just feed it along and then adjust it when it's on. At least it's clipped together then. And you can kind of like just push on this here and let it clip along until it becomes tight, and then I'll get it crimped now. I'm using these bad boys. My dad gave them me. They look like they're from the Iron Age, but they're absolutely perfect for just getting enough on these clips to crimp them on. And that's it, crimp. Took 2 seconds that to crimp it. Easy job, lots of CV grease back in there now. I can get the car put back on 4 wheels now. I'm going to get another ABS sensor sorted, but for me that's a good day. That drop link, CV boot clip, CV grease and the ABS fault sorted, even though I messed it up and snapped the sensor. Test drive time in the Berlingo. I'm just going to go up and down the road in it, make a few turns and stuff, but I can tell straight away it usually starts knocking by now, and it's not. So that's the drop links done, that's the ABS light sorted, even though I was a muppet and I snapped the cable by routing it wrong. And I've also done the CV grease and a new CV boot clip. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're still finding them informative. I know it's a bit of a mad one doing the Berlingo ones, but as you know, I absolutely love this car. Please hit the subscribe button, still plenty of videos to come. I've got a few more cars on the way as well. Any comments, put them in the comment section below. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, and yeah, I'll see you in the next video.